Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being on. This is the very first one that we are doing for a Monday Reset call that is a special edition, and we're going to do this every November, but this is the very first one. And I am so grateful that my friend Sahar said yes to being a part of this with us today because many conversations that I've had over the years in coaching and leading realtors is how do you run a business as a solo agent and be fully present with the things that matter most and leverage the talent around you at the brokerage that you're a part of. And that's what she has done in a really high level. And I believe that all of you are going to love her as much as I do. Thankfully, we've had a little bit of time together, and we just learned before this that we have some people that we both love dearly similar. She's excited to be a part of the Legacy Collaborative Network, and she has many awards that she has won. And the most important thing for her is that she's been able to be a present mom while she's been accomplishing things at a really high level during her entire real estate career. So thank you for being here, Sahar.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to share everything I've done to help many others do something similar or different. But, I always say we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can all learn from each other.
Yes. And we were just talking about how it's been important for you from the very beginning of starting real estate to be a present mom, a great business owner, and provide a five-star client experience for every single person that you serve. So can you share with us a few of the awards that you've received and then talk a little bit about the beginning of this business for you and what decisions you made right when you were starting?
Yeah, absolutely. So to start with, you asked the question, Ms. Dissected the awards. The awards that I've got, top solo agent in my market center every single year since I believe 2021. In the Houston area, we have 53,000 licensed agents in HER. And I'm number 18 and I'm happy. I don't want to be number one. Just because the sacrifices that it's going to take you, I'm not willing to do. And that's family for me, kids. I've been on stage with Gary, as you guys know, in Mega Camp. And I spoke about the structure and the leverage that I've created for myself during COVID. So I don't have to sacrifice my kids and, somebody else being with my kids when they were homeschooled. And then I adopted that process. Since then, I have not shown a house, and I'm very heavy on buyers. Most of the time, that has been the breaking point, like the breakthrough that I've had. And that's how I doubled my business. Still, as a solo agent, not having a team, the overhead of a team, the commitment of a team, and the structure of a team, just working with agents to help them while they help me back. And we'll dig deeper on that in a bit. The whole reason I would say it all started, and you have to always evaluate why are you in the business. So other than, of course, we're in real estate, we're here to help. How did I come into the business? That's the important question. I went through a bad divorce in 2016. And I was a software engineer, which, as you know, is an 8 to 5 job. I had 3 kids under 10. And I decided this work structure is not going to work with me being a single mom. So I wanted a career that will help give me flexibility to be there with my kids. And I got into real estate that way. It was the reason I got into real estate was I wanted flexibility around my kids' schedule. When you're from the outside world, you think, you know what, I make my own schedule. And you get to real estate and you'd be like, okay, you know what, the client wants me at this time, and this time, and this time. So I kind of hit a hard bump and I said, I'm in the business to be flexible and be with my kids. And now all this is, once you grow the business, you're like, okay, you know what I'm going to do now? Like, am I going to sacrifice? So always keep your main focus where you started. I always say, always revisit why are you doing what you're doing. So every time I get into a bump, I ask myself, why am I in this business? Why am I here? Of course, day one, I started because of the kids' flexibility, but then now it's more, there is more into it. But when you go back to the basics, when you hit any roadblock, you remember, hey, you did this because of your flexibility, what's the most important thing for you. For me, it's always been the center of my universe is my kids. So I have to remind myself I'm here today because of my kids, and I've accomplished so much because of the kids. So that has always been where I get back when things get hard or challenging. And I remind myself, hey, this is why I did this, and how am I gonna solve the problem without affecting the main reason why I'm here, which is my kids and my value around being there with them as a mom and not sacrificing that. So any issue, any bump in the road, I have to figure it out. I always say it's through systems and leverage, but how do you do that without affecting the most important big why that you have? And that has been just, I think, mind-blowing for me when I think day one, when I started where I was, 2025, 7 years later, where I am today, helping all these people accomplish what is most important for them without sacrificing what's most important for me. And they say balance is, it's an unreal word, I think. You just have to embrace the chaos without letting go of what's important for you.
I love that so much. You're such a great example of this. So I'm glad that you explained it that way. And what's interesting is I know about every single person that's on here right now. The values of why they got into business are literally what they lead their life with. Just having them consistently remind themselves that they can do this and they can build it in alignment with what that reason was of why they're in this business to begin with is so powerful. So thank you for that.
No, absolutely. It's unfiltered. I always say, I don't want to say, yeah, I did the business because I want to help people. I'm like, yeah, I want to help people now, knowing what I know and what value I can bring for them. That's like non-negotiable. But why did I get into this business is kind of over my head like a crown. And it's always been what makes me do what I do best. It's always saying, hey, hold on to it. Don't let go of it. It might be challenging at times, but just keep reminding yourself and lead from that point, moving forward.
Thank you. That's so good. You talked about systems and leverage. And for me, the way that you've designed that is one of the most fascinating things. And we both talked about like how you and I have in common that sometimes we could be the black sheep of how we do things, which is amazing to think about how you built your business and now how we're building the Legacy Collaborative that's in a unique way. So can you share what your thought process has been and the trajectory of it over those 7 years of how you've built leverage and systems in your business?
Absolutely. So as soon as I got a hands of things, 2018, I started 2020, my business was booming. Boom, we have COVID, COVID put a challenge. Our 3 kids are at home, homeschooled, and then we are flooded in Texas with buyers. I was focused in the beginning on listings, and we have so much buyers, and everybody wants your help, and how you're going to help everybody without leaving the kids. I was solo agent, like traditional solo agent, right? And then I had at that time, Jeff Adler was my coach. And he's like, have you ever thought of doing a showing agent structure? Of course, drunk monkey, whatever you want to call it. No, how am I going to send somebody with my clients? They don't see me, like they're going to think I don't care for them, blah, 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 all that stuff. I had to mentally get over that and see the value. And it's just, I think once you have a coach, I believe in coaching 100%. Once you have somebody that can talk you into seeing things differently, because the way we look at things, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's a big, bold law that I believe in. So once he told me like, hey, people are hiring you, not necessarily to open a door, right? You want to negotiate, you want to give them value. Most of the people I help relocate, you want to explain what's, guide them through the areas and what's important for them. Houston market is a big area, and I've lived in many different suburbs. So, handling the transaction from A to Z with all the bumps that might go. People are hiring you to problem solve, to negotiate, and take the edge off this biggest transaction they've done in their life that you do every single day, and they do it once or 2 or maybe 3 times at max. So once I started believing in that, then I could easily leverage that part of showing. So still I'm serving the clients, but not necessarily being there with them for showings. Of course, the first time when I introduced it to my clients, I was uncomfortable, right? But practice makes perfect. And the more you own it and you believe in it, the more they're going to believe it. Now it became a no-brainer. Once a year, I help about 50 plus buyers a year. So once a year, I get a buyer that doesn't like it. And yes, I can do an exception and take him out. But one, it's not fair to others. Two, I'm not breaking the way I built my boundaries. We talked about boundaries just for that one person. If they can't respect the way I do business, they're not, we're not going to do business together. So yes, I've lost some clients. So over the 5 years that I started doing that, maybe 5 clients, once a year, I say an average that somebody doesn't like the structure. They're used to a certain structure, they want a certain thing. And it's okay. I mean, it's okay. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm not breaking what I've built, the system that I've built for myself to make an exception. Because as we all know, once we break, I always say, once we make an exception, those are going to be the hardest clients because they walk all over you. So, you have to know the way you want to run your own business. This is a business that we're running. You have to put boundaries around it and let everybody respect you. 90% of the people are going to respect the way you do business. You're going to have some people that doesn't. It's okay. You don't have to do business with them. And I make peace with it,
That's so good. And that's a great reminder because we've been talking about standards a lot lately. And it's interesting because I find that it depends on where you are in building your business, whether you're a few years in, whether you've been in the business forever. I still find realtors that really cater to whatever the client wants. And it's absolutely the bottleneck on their business, even if they don't have interest in sitting at home and being present with their kids. And it's a different reason. They still are their own bottleneck because they don't care about having standards. And then they wonder why the clients don't listen to them later in the transaction because they never set it up well in the beginning.
And those are the people, that teaches you the most. We've all been through it. We've all made some exceptions at the beginning. Or sometimes we make it, even when you're established, sometimes you make that little exception that you don't think it's really going to affect you, but then it affects you the most. And it's always a learning experience that, you shouldn't have done that. You knew better, you should have done that. I always say, just go with we go back to what's important, why you're doing that when you lead from that, why you started the business. For me, it's my kids and the time with them. When you lead with what's important and your main core, why you're here, I think everything else becomes unimportant, because what's one client compared to what you can do to many others that needs your help and they can respect what you do, And the way I structured it, or how I started, Jeff suggested as showing agents, as everybody, I asked somebody in my office to show, and for a certain fee, we go back to the details, and that was $50 or 2 houses minimum. I don't remember. It's been 5 years. But whatever it is, $100 minimum, I think it was. And they will go out with the client. The next time the client wants to go out, the same agent is not available. And that did not sit well with me because I felt like I'm throwing the client with different people. So I told Jeff that is not working for me. So I'm thinking of something else. And he's like, what? He's like, I want to do part of my commission. And he's like, what are you thinking? I said, we can have a structure, 10, 15, 20, it depends what they do. But I want to do that. And a lot of agents, or the office at the beginning did not like it because they were going to go out. If you don't close, we don't make money. And I came to them and I said simply, I was a software engineer. I worked for 3 months every summer as an intern, not being paid in DC and Virginia, just to learn, okay? So I'm asking them, hey, you're a newer agent. I'm not taking an agent that has been doing this for a while, right? And making their own money. You're a newer agent. You want to jump in the business and learn. I'm giving you an opportunity to learn. And what I promise you with me is, because I do a group message between me and my buyers, and the agent is in there, so the communication is all there for them to learn. But also, you're starting. I've done this for a while. If you have your own, once you get your own clients, any question you might have, call me. I'll guide you. Come sit with me. Watch me how I do buyer consults. See the system. I'm here to train you for free. You will help me, not for free. You have a probability of closing and making money if we make the deal happen. This gives you a motive to learn and close the deal when you're working with a buyer. This also gives you an opportunity to learn from somebody that is number one solo agent, blah, 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 like that have done it in it for a while. And plus all that, I don't do any leases since I started because, I jumped into sellers and buyers and I didn't need to learn it, not because I do more money. So any lease options, so a lot of clients, a lot of referrals, a lot of people that wants to lease, those will be free leads to you. Like I'll give you. So that way I keep you busy. Of course, not everybody accepts it, but the people that do, they are the hungry ones. That tells you a character. Because when whoever worked in corporate America, have done internship, graduated, done internship for free. This is reality. People come into real estate thinking they're gonna walk into, what is it, like OC, that movie, that show that people put $1 million like day one. No, that's not reality. Reality is you're gonna learn how to do this the right way. And that way, when you have your clients, you're on top of everything instead of just the first client you get, you make a lot of mess. I've always said when you start working with me, because the first experience within a year or two max, people start building their own business because they market, they go on showings, they go on inspections, they go on walkthroughs, they're welcome to come to the closing. They can use that because we're splitting the commission kind of. You can use that and say, this is your client. So what does that mean? That's free marketing. Free marketing for you, you attract leads. And that means within 2 years, they start doing their own business. Once they tell me, hey, Sahar, I'm getting busy with my own clients, I need to move on, I give them my blessings. I just ask them one thing when they start with me, give me about a month. In that month, I will trade somebody else to come and cover for you. And now we have redundancy. So I have 3 main ones and then 2 part-timers, just because people have life and plans and I don't want to be, just be like left dry. So this year, I think, or last year, we did 78 clients and everybody helped and everybody made money and everybody learned. They help. I always say, I bring value, they bring value to me. For me, the most value is I don't have to leave to showings and be there in person, because as my kids are growing older, the responsibility is changing. They are not little anymore. I don't have to, homeschool them. But like today, like the reason I didn't do the 12 o'clock, at 12 o'clock every single day, Monday to Friday, I have to go pick up my son, or I get to go pick up my son from high school. And I love it. Soon he's going to be on his own. So I'm enjoying every moment. And that midday, and then in the afternoon at 4, my daughter. So like, I am not the kind of person that's going to tell my clients, hey, I can't show you because I have to do this. So I always give them solutions instead of giving problems. So, that's how the whole showing agent came into birth and how it continues to bloom with me.
I love that so much. Let me ask you, when you give them the leasing leads, do they then get to keep the client when it turns into a buyer in the future, or does that stay in your database? What does that look like?
It's a very good question. I operate based on abundance. So I do tell them, once they become a buyer, they are my buyer. But I do not, I do trust that they're going to do that. Have I had somebody take a buyer away? Not yet. I think once you come from the abundance and you give people everything, I think they're not, they're out to kind of hunt you. Everybody I worked with, we have somebody in my office now. She's a top agent. She started with me as a showing agent. And she loves that she started with me and trained with me. And it's a two-way street, right? She helped me. She's an older lady, doesn't have kids. She helped me tremendously starting in 2020. And I helped her tremendously in other ways, training her and giving her, all these. Do I think sometimes it might happen? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, some people might build a connection with that person when they're leased. And I just always, when I give them out, I always have that abundance mentality that my showing agents, when they come back to them to buy, they're going to come and ask me, and say, hey, Sahar, like I've had a lot of people, hey, Sahar, they contacted me and they're ready to buy, I always have that. And we have a lot that did that. Did we lose couple? Maybe, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's even if it's a repeat client of yours, sometimes they decide to work with somebody else. It's totally fine.
I love that mindset. And I absolutely believe in you just pouring your heart and soul into growing and developing leaders that are in values alignment with you, that is why your business has grown so much. And I mean, honestly, I think that most people who are highly talented would totally treasure being able to work directly with you in that way. The majority of people, when they get started in the business, the things that you're helping them learn fast are the things that they usually say that they don't have help with the most. So, I mean, you're totally making a big impact for them as well. Are there specific things that you've come to look for in the agents that you're going to be working with and mentoring over the years?
Yes, the most important one for me, it's the people's values, their core, their beliefs. And that's something you can't train. You cannot train, you cannot teach somebody how to love serving people. Service, if your heart is full of service and that's your core value, that you're here to help, I think everything else I can teach you. So what does that mean? Everybody here is a real estate agent. We all want to make money, but if you're thinking of the dollar before you think of what the client really wants and needs, then your whole system is going to crash one day, because money is going to come and go. Money is going to always find their way if you're doing the right thing by people. So that's the most important thing. When I talk to people, I ask them why they're in real estate, what they think of real estate. I try to dig deeper than, hey, how long you been in the business? What are you planning to do? So what profession did they come in from before? What's their goals? When people are just have a dollar sign, I'll walk away from them.
I love all of that. And I absolutely agree with you. Values alignment is the number one reason why I see that people work together well, and the number one reason why I see people not work together well. When you don't slow down and figure out if you're in alignment with your values, that is when things can go south. But clearly, you've done an excellent job of thinking about your values and why you started your business to begin with, and in who you're selecting to serve your clients.
Yeah. And then I'm a very honest and transparent person. Like, just, you've talked to me many times. I'm very genuine, I just say as is. So the first call with them, when I know if it clicks and they've been in the service business, they're moms. Mostly I get along a lot with moms. The most important thing, I asked them, hey, do you have any kids? And nothing against kids. I have 3 of them. But they are my biggest strength, but also they're my biggest limitation. And that's why I'm looking for a showing partner. I call them partners, by the way, not agents, because I like the partnership word. And when you present it to the buyers, they like it as well. They don't think like you're handing them off to somebody that's not experienced. They're your partners in business. So I asked them, do they have kids? And I tell them nothing against kids. Nothing against kids. I have 3 kids, but I know their limitation on that. And if they do have kids, what's the support system they have? I'm in a unique position. I'm here as an international person. My parents are in Lebanon. They're 24 hours away if I need help. So that is something that, how does their day look like? What's their responsibilities? I need to know all that. Are they working part-time? Is this a full-time? Because from there, what's going to happen. You can see patterns in life. So most important thing for me is, other than their values, is their availability, their sense of urgency. We are in an age that Amazon can deliver in an hour. So if somebody can't respond to me within an hour, we have a problem, So that is something I want to know. Hey, what's the sense of urgency that they have for being in this, how they're going to serve their clients? I understand we all have life happening. We all have things that are going to come. Communication, clear communication is key. And the same thing that we communicate to the clients, what to expect from what we're going to do for them. I need the same thing from the buyer's agent or the showing agent that's helping me. So AKA, if they have something going on, they're not going to be available, let us know. Because when the client is in a 3-way text message asking for a showing, and I can't respond because I'm not showing, right? And they want an appointment. If me or you are in an appointment for 4 hours or going on vacation, we need to let them know, okay, they'll get back with you. They are currently in another appointment. They don't need to know the details, but at least we know that they're going to be available for the next 4 hours. So expectations, communication, clear communication between the person that you're working with is as important to the clear communication that you have with your clients. That way you operate as a team, strong team, without, the client knowing the nitty details that you guys are not really a team. So the consistency of all that has been amazing. If somebody, I give warnings, if somebody doesn't do what they promise to do. I think I've had one agent, I still remember, in family reunion, he vanished, dropped off the face of the earth. That's one agent among the maybe 12 agents that I've worked with that vanished. And he came back and he explained what after 2 weeks, because we were really worried about him. And we found out he covered one of the other showing agents, and my TC put his check with her check, and the other agent lost her license, or like she didn't renew her license in time. She didn't get paid. So he was going through a hardship and all that crap. Like I told my TC, I'm like, why did you do that? Just split before. She's like, he told me anything I want. So I went the easy route. So that was like a miscommunication how he got paid. And then he came back and worked for us again until he went through a divorce and he decided to go another route. But that's the only time that I had somebody vanish. And that causes a lot of problems because you have clients in town. I was in family reunion. You have to find somebody else, especially, remember I told you, I have usually two at the same time. One of them didn't have her license renewed. She can't cover up for him. And then this guy vanished. So from that on, redundancy became like the most important thing for me. I think everybody knew, like that week, I was so stressed. I had to lean on friends that are in the business to help out. And, it's a blessing when you help people not thinking about money. Like I've given Spanish people in my area leads and stuff without taking anything, that they would jump in and help you at the first chance you need it.
Well, I love that you are receiving what you put out and the way that you're serving other people. I think that always happens, even if it looks different than we expect it to. So I'm glad that people were able to come to your rescue in a moment where things were like, what do I do here? That's so awesome.
100%. Always give. If you don't get a return, it's going to come back to you one way or another.
Yes, one of my favorite books ever is Give and Take. And for me, I just think that people who are givers, it always does work out eventually, right? When you actually want something for people. And that's how you show up for your clients and how you show up for the people that are helping you in your business. I know that you started off with them being showing agents. And because I've heard you talk about your model before, I know that your biggest focus is to be fully present at your house in your business. So can you break down really quick what the people that are supporting you handle for you and what parts of the business are your priority?
Yes. So finally, after years of interviewing people to take the admin role, finally I took a plug on my TC. She's been with me since day one, and that person changed when she came full-time with me on my payroll. I call her the work wife. She does everything I do. She can do. Like, she's a licensed TC. She's been with me since day one. She used to only do the TC flow, which is from contract to close. She was with a third-party company. The reason I hired a couple people from like Steve Soprani, from what is the other one? The ones VAs, cyberbackers, for certain reasons, it did not work for me. The reason her, especially, I wanted her so bad, but she wanted like 100K and I couldn't afford it. The reason why, because we go back to the values. She's the kind of person, she wouldn't stop working 8 to 5 until the stuff that are needed is done. She's the kind of person that wouldn't say no to the client. She will always find a way to say a yes, even if it's a no. So she mirrors everything that I am. And that's why I wanted her so bad. So finally, I hired her full time. And that changed my life 120 degrees, if not more. And what did I mean? I could go back to my country, not just today. So to let you know, I could go back to my country, which is Lebanon, last summer for 30 days and not have to take a phone call from a client from there. 30 days, my business kept going. And she took care of everything. That for me is priceless, honestly. Being 7 years in the business and not being able to be with family. Finally, I could go to family and enjoy. Our parents are just growing older, and anytime they're not going to be around. So that for me is just freedom. Like, I don't know how to say it, freedom. Technically, we communicated, me and her, a lot. Not that I disconnected for a month, but at least she took care of everybody while I'm gone. So the communication between her if she has any questions. This year, again, I took my kids to Japan for a high school trip for 2 weeks. She did handle everything. Went back with my son for a month, if you remember, to Lebanon for his graduation. And so I was gone for like 7 or 8 weeks this summer. And I still had a very good year, like my business does not stop. So that kind of leverage, what she handles, everything I handle, simply. Like she can handle everything I do. She was not comfortable with the buyer consult at the beginning. So I trained the showing partners that I have to do that. 2 of them can do it perfectly. So if any buyer comes in while I'm gone, they'll take them over for extra percentage, of course. And they take them from A to Z. So it's kind of a buyer's agent became, without me being involved, but still the contracts, everything, since my TC is on, she's writing the contracts, communicating everything. So kind of I built that my business can run without me if needed. That has been just, I don't know, like mind-blowing. It's scary because I feel like they don't need you, but it's also mind-blowing. And, I don't know how to say it. It's just a blessing.
It's a life by design. It's a life by design.
It's a life by design. I would not have thought that this is going to happen if you asked me 7 years ago, and that's something that you and I and all the agents that are listening to us, they can do if they pour into people and help them. These people will be there to do the same thing that you're doing without you sacrificing the most important moments of your life.
I love that so much. How do you structure the communication? I know you talked about the text messages that go with the people that are supporting that specific client so that you guys are on the same conversation, but what does that communication look like from the very beginning all the way through the closing for the relationship to make sure the client is satisfied with someone else helping them?
Okay, so we go back to foundations. Day one, when I connect with my buyers, we have a 1-hour conversation. And that conversation is what a buyer consult is. It can be in person, it can be on Zoom, it can be on a phone call. Everybody is different, so no one size fits all. And that hour is where I'm building a connection. Yes, I tell them, hey, I'm going to get on a call so we can see your goals and timeline. But for me, that 1 hour is where I'm building a connection. That connection can come from them being a family with kids, can come from background of some profession. I lived in 5 different states. It can come back, with interest. So I need to find a way how I'm going to build a connection, personal connection with that person. I won't hang up the phone before I do. And if I don't find anything to connect with them, I get on a FaceTime. If we are, I need to kind of connect with people. And I think once you reconnect with people, these people trust you. You earn their trust by finding a connection, a deep connection, not just, hey, I connected with you. No, like finding somewhere that person can identify or like relate to you and you relate to them. And keep that in mind while you're working with them, because other than pain versus pleasure idea, like what's their pain so you can, what's the pleasure, focusing on that. That connection is when you have hard points during the process, you come back to that point, and that will kind of relieve the nervous system for these people, because they know that you care about them, they know for sure that you are who you promised you are day one. And then afterwards, we find the connection. I set them up on a search engine. Some people call it drip campaign. At the end of the conversation, I explained that, hey, 2024 changed. At this time, we need to do a buyer rep. Once we are ready for showings, there's going to be my partner that's going to be responsible for all showings. I'm going to start a group message with them, and they're going to be taking them on the road. Anytime they finish the showing or during the showing, if they need anything, they call me. So I've always, like, what's his name? Jason Abraham called me. I'm like the air traffic controller. So I'm sitting here, working, talking to people, but then like as we speak, we have all these group messages going on. So I'm looking, if anybody needs anything, I'm jumping, responding, right? So before we leave that phone call, they know the system, expectations. I'm available 8 to 8 for a phone conversation anytime. They can call, text, 5 days a week. Okay. After 8, my phone goes do not disturb. The next day I'll get back with it, not because I don't care, because I fall asleep early. I wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock every day. Simple, straightforward. So I kind of set the boundaries, expectations. That way, when they're working with me, what to expect. We start the conversation, usually it's the spouses in a group message with me. then I start adding people as we need, which is my TC or my admin, and then my showing agent. Usually my TC is the first one because she's going to be sending the paperwork, and then adding. I don't like to add everybody at the same time because people get confused. My TC can get on a phone call, the showing agent can get on a phone call. We keep all our conversation from day one until day 40 or 30 or maybe a year later. We keep it in that group message so we all know what's going on, because sometimes I'm not going to be available. Sometimes we're showing agents, so we need to go see the history of what's happening. So we kind of keep that, and that makes me see what's going on, commenting every time. And once they say, hey, we like the house, directly I jump on the phone call, you know, but they're free to call me anytime. So I'm always involved, but I'm not in person. You know, they can call, they can text, they feel comfortable. I've never had an issue with it, you know. I don't disconnect from them, so I don't hand them off and leave them. We're always in the group message, and I'm always reading what's going on so I can insert comments so they can see I'm there. Anything with comps, market analysis, financials, anything like that, it's my job, not the showing agent job, unless I'm, you know, overseas or something. I give them extra to do it. So I'm always involved during the transaction, that they don't think that that person is just taking care of them and I'm on the sideline. And I tell them, you'll see me at the closing in person. If you want to see me at any point, we'll meet for coffee, because I don't want to confuse them showing them a house and that person showing them a house. Let that person kind of know what they like from day one and take them through that process.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I know this is a small question, however, it's a big question with people's different phones. So, what format do you use for your group conversations? I know some people have iPhones, some people don't have iPhones. So, do you use like a WhatsApp or a GroupMe? What is the format of that group?
No, I use the regular. I have an iPhone, so I use the regular messages, and that is the format. The, you know, like the groups I have.
Yes.
All these are groups of clients, so we use that. Now, some people that we work with have an Android, and it's
Yeah.
disaster. So they ask us about WhatsApp, and we do on a WhatsApp, but. And then I have some people that are overseas, but usually it's just the iPhone message. You know, it's easier. Everybody has it, or 80% of the people, unless they have a problem with the Android, then we switch to WhatsApp. But I don't like WhatsApp much because of my overseas people on it. So my WhatsApp is kind of muted most of the time.
And do you name those conversations with the person's name or the address? How do you keep track of it?
Yeah. My TC would love to name the address, but no, my names is person names. And then sometimes our buyers and sellers. So we put Matt's home sale, current home sale, or like Matt's purchase. But it's their names. Why do I change names? Because remember, on the seller side, I don't have the showing agent. So I have people that are buying and selling, but I don't want the other agent with us, because on the selling, she might bring a buyer. I don't want her to know what's going on the sell side. So I separate, but it's usually their first names, and I put an emoji for each one of them, and I put houses, different colors. So I color code them just to get creative with them and make it fun.
Awesome. Okay. I know those were very detailed questions. I just think they really matter around the experience. What version of your current business would shock the version of you that was just getting started?
Which version? I didn't hear that part.
What part of your business right now would shock the version of you that was just getting started in real estate?
I think the mental limitations, what I could do. So day one, I'm going to just be like very transparent. Day one, I thought, hey, if I can close one deal a week, then I'll just like kind of reach the dream, because you're starting, you don't know, like the first year. And now look at me, what I'm doing, right? I think the most shocking thing is how much freedom it gave me, how much the systems that I've built broke my idea of real estate, what I used to think, day one. Because you start in real estate, you think, it's so flexible. But then you just get like, okay, it's flexible, but you don't have time to do anything else because you're always there. Now with all the leverage I have, it's just shocked me how much freedom you can get. Like, I don't know how much you guys, but like I work 5 days a week from home. Somebody calls me, so you're like virtual? I'm like, no, I'm not virtual. I can meet people anytime, but people now don't want to meet, like everybody is like on the go, go, go. So sometimes we do Zoom. Most of the time they just want to be on a call. I go to closings when I'm in town. Otherwise, my showing agents, they love it because they can market themselves. They can go. And I go meet sellers in their houses. As I mentioned, our market has been very buyer heavy until this year. We're kind of seeing a balance. So most of the time, how many listing appointments a year? Like I've been doing 30, 40, I get all the people I go to, unless they want to overprice. I tell them, no, thank you.
Perfect. I love that you just said that, especially in this market. So what is your goal for next year?
My goal for next year, I think it's always been from year one till now, is giving as much good experience to people and my kids. So my son is graduating this year. I had one that graduated last year. He's graduating thinking, I asked him, where does he want to go as just me and him travel. My other son that I took to Lebanon, he's already planning the trip there. So he wants me to go. So I've always been all about experiences. How can I continue helping people with me providing the experiences? My kids are not going to be with me God knows for how long more. I have an 18 and 17-year-old and a 13. I'm squeezing every minute that I can spend with them. I know what your question meant units, and I don't think this way anymore.
No, actually, I wasn't attached to exactly. Yeah. And because you've cared about putting your kids first and cared about the experience you're giving to people from the beginning is why you've achieved the units that you have. So I do think that it's so typical for people to ask the question of units or volume or profit or any of those financial only numbers. And for me, the gift of how you've grown your business is because you really think inside out of the kind of mom that you're being and what does your business need to look like and the kind of values the people that you hire and that you work with in your business, other agents, and that causes the experience for your clients, right? So I think it would be odd if you answered in an outside in way versus inside out because you've always been internally focused.
Saundra, it all feeds to each other, by the way, because when you have a certain goal, like with your kids, maybe like everybody is different. Like I want to send my kid to college. I want to take them on this trip. All that is going to cost us money. Let's just be honest, other than the daily expenses. So it's going to cost us money. So when you have a plan, hey, I want to do this, and you have a dollar cost on it, what's that? That's going to be your motivation to go out there and work harder. So it's literally feeding into each other in a way, but I don't know, something about God. I think when he knows that you're trying to do for others, which is my kids for me, and my parents is the second best thing. But when they know that, hey, your goal is to make the money for this, for that role, God opened doors. I don't know how. And this is coming from somebody that went through a divorce in 2018, didn't have any financial support, physical, emotional support, with 3 kids under 10. And I didn't have any money, and then today the shocking is how much I can give my kids and provide the day-to-day, not needing anybody. That for me is just heaven, on earth. So I think God, when he knows where your heart is, he's just opened doors for you. So
I 1,000,000% agree. I'm so proud of everything that you've done and everything that you stand for. And I'm so grateful that you're here with us today. So everyone that has been a part of this, if you can come off of mute and ask any questions that you have or share with Sahar what you got from this so that she can take that away, just as our gratitude for her being here. I would love that. What takeaways or questions do you have?
Can they unmute themselves or you have to unmute them?
They can.
They can.
Okay, I have a question. So I know that you touched on potentially like some kind of sort of like a commission split. So does your transaction coordinator get paid a fee or is it a split? And then also your showing agent, that's also a split, or is that also a fee?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The TC is a full-time admin. She's on payroll. So she has a bi-weekly salary, so she's kind of, my employee. She's my only employee, actually. The showing agents, they're kind of a contractors. So if you've done any referral business in the past, like your referral, you kind of send them a referral fee. So they are commission split based. I don't do the payroll on that side. And that gives me and them the freedom to do whatever they want with their time. They don't work for me. They can do their own business, but they can also, if they commit to a client. So now that we have 5 agents, we put it in a group message that we have for my team, on traditional team. I ask, hey, I have a client who wants to take it. And the person that takes it, he's committed until the date of the closing, they're going to work that client. So they have the freedom to commit to that person at day one, and it's a commission split.
And I remember what you said. So she actually hired someone that worked for a TC company because it was her dream person to have as her full-time person when she got to the point of hiring a full-time person. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So my third-party TC that was on a transaction based, I think it was like 300, 500, something like that, depending on what she's doing. 300 for the listing and 500 for the TC. But she was a third-party company. I actually bought her out from that company. She had a contract with her to come work with me full time because she just aligned with me. And I kind of went for 2 years trying to find somebody else. I guess when people align with each other, there's magic in the making, I call it.
That is absolutely right. I always say go after the person that you've always dreamed of being in business with and figure out how to make it work.
100%.
All right. Who else has questions or ahas?
And also, like, if you guys want to reach out, if you, Saundra, give them my information, you can always ask. I've had a lot of referral partners that always call me and be like, Sahar, how you did that? So now they implement the showing agent structure, and they swear by it. It gave so much freedom for people because the way I kind of did it or structured it, it will hold the client with you more than just sending somebody per door. And it will teach the agents to partner with you on a long-term structure.
I will definitely make sure they have your contact information for any detailed questions as they're getting to the point of applying this for themselves. We have 5 more minutes. Who else has any questions or top takeaways from this conversation? Kristen, it's so nice.
Hey, not exactly a question, but I was just going to say there's definitely a sense of like peace and calm. And I think as parents, sometimes we can feel like we're on that hamster wheel. And so the importance of setting up those systems to protect your time is something that we have to learn sometimes as moms because you think you can do it all.
Yeah. And the thing is that, yes, you can do it all, but at what cost? At what cost? And when you think of the cost, if it's your nervous system, if it's your time, if it's your kids' time, the memories you're taking away from them, the time, how many years do you have with your kids and then they're gone, right? How many hours in the day? If you think about that cost, if you make peace with that cost and you're okay with it, it's not one size fits all, as I said, but everybody's way of their peace, how it looks like is different. For me, my peace is literally around my kids. Like everything is around my kids. And I keep reminding myself every time I get a bump in the road or something happens, because life happens, is why am I doing this from the get-go? And when I remember, it's for them and the time with them, because that is going to go away one day. It just gives you peace, even we can talk about million things that happens every single day. It just gives you peace, and that's how you keep going on. And I think God sees that your heart is in the right place, so he keeps blessing you. So as they say, when one door closes, the other one opens. So even in that moment when you feel like the end of the world because you close the door, he blesses you with 10 different windows that opens up for you of opportunity.
That's so good. Thank you, Kristen. So the way that this is going to go is we're going to have everyone quickly, if you didn't get to unmute and share with her what you got or gratitude or questions, if you want to just type it in the chat real quick. And then as this hour rounds out, the 1 to 2 o'clock hour, I'm going to be talking to all of you about technology leverage and what people are using going into 2026 to make their lives easier and to get time back. So this is just meant to be 2 full hours of you guys hearing amazing ideas of how to get your time back and create opportunities. Sahar, thank you so much. I knew a little bit about your model, and yet this was really powerful. And I know a lot of people are going to apply the details.
And always reach out if you or anybody needs anything. Please pass my contact. I love helping people not recreate the wheel. Just take it, use it, and enjoy what you get. Freedom from it, for your own. If it's your kids, your parents, elderly parents, something that's going on with your life, you're gonna see that has will create miracles in your life, and I mean it.
Absolutely. Well, I think everyone here is really clear, and anyone who's going to watch this in the future is really clear that you are someone who is a miracle on this earth, and you take it seriously for you to be able to contribute and create those for your own family and for other people. And we're just super grateful that you spent time with us today.
And I'm very blessed that we crossed paths a few years ago, and I'm grateful for you having me here. I'll talk to you guys soon. I have to go.
Thank you. Everyone stay because you know that usually it's from 1 to 2. So, and I'm super excited. Thank you for being on. So I said this in the beginning, and a couple of you weren't here yet. So every November, we're not going to have a Monday reset call on the Monday. And we're going to do a 2-hour session on the week before. This is the very first one of those. And we're always going to have a really amazing speaker from 12 to 1. And then we'll move on from 1 to 2 and talk about the edgy upcoming things people are going to be using in the next year so that you have both. And then you can be fully present on your Thanksgiving week. Are you guys excited about that? Yes? Good. So we are going, yes, awesome. And now more people are entering who note takers. We'll get this in here. Okay. All right. So we are going to jump right in to talking about technologies and upcoming things that are happening in 2026. And some of these you may already be using. And we're going to talk about what I have learned in all of the elite coaching conversations I've been having, and what I have learned based on some intensives that I've been a part of. And the number one thing I'll share with everyone is that as technology and AI continue to evolve into the future, the number one thing that's going to be most important for every single one of us is something that you all already value, or you wouldn't be a part of the Legacy Collaborative, and it is personal relationships. So the foundation of your business, whether you're brand new or whether you have an extensive business, being personal relationships in the way that you communicate in person and online, is going to cause you to continue to have a really amazing real estate business. I know that some of you were on for the first hour, and that 2 hours is a long time, but for all of you that can come on and show your faces, I would appreciate that, because that gives us really amazing energy. And I would love to just hear what all of you guys are thinking about to start this conversation as a mastermind conversation and an interactive one. What are you thinking about for your technology of the things that you're going to incorporate for you to be more human with more people more often as you build your business in 2026? So what tools are you thinking about using? You can just come off mute and share before I dive into what I already had planned to talk about.
Systems.
Systems. I love that, Shania. What kind of systems?
All the systems. I just want them to be faster and more personal.
Faster and more personal. I know you and I had a conversation earlier specifically around how do you incorporate the technologies you're currently using to ensure that you are receiving the leads and the conversations that are coming from your intentionality around social media. So that's something that you're really focused on, making sure that you pick up on relationships speedily as they are responding to you with everything you're doing on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere else. Yes? Yes. I think she's in a room where she can't really, yeah, she's typing in the chat. Awesome. Who else? What are you focused on from a technology perspective and being in relationship with more people in 2026?
For me, it's systems as well. I got two things. I want to streamline my systems to make sure that I have a flow. I'm in the process of working on an SOP so I can kind of keep that standard going. And then also, I'm trying to figure out better ways to market that takes away some time from me, because I do a lot of mailers and I actually handwrite them, postcard, stuff them, the whole nine. So it's like I'm stuffing day one, writing envelopes day two. And I mean, like this year alone, I think I've sent out over 700 mailers. So it's very time consuming, but I'm trying to find other ways to market as well.
Okay. Well, I love that answer. And I love that you already have some systems and you're just working on how do you take your existing systems to the next level in a way that's smart. Yes? Okay. Anyone else? What are you focused on? I just want to make sure that what I'm going to talk about covers everything that you're talking about, and so far it will. What are you most excited about with technology?
Trying to use AI more to the benefit. So not removing the human piece of it, but utilizing it as a time saver. And then also just recently started trying ManyChat
Yes.
so that it hopefully takes out some of that instantaneous, but then you continue on.
Yeah, I love that. That is a really great tool that I would say about half of my elite coaching clients are currently using. So I love that you mentioned that, Kristen. And that wasn't naturally in the flow of things that I'm going to be talking about today, but that is a tool that a lot of people use on social media to automatically respond and set up lead magnets and all kinds of things that you can incorporate. So that's really good. Thank you. All right, so we're going to jump in. This is how this is going to go. I'm going to go through 7 categories of a flow of how you could operate your business. And then you're just going to take however you're running your business right now and figure out what tweaks or improvements you can make. And we're going to talk about each section. So get ready to take notes, get ready to share and just pop up and share what you're getting from this, because there's going to be a ton of value in it. I spent quite a bit of time on making sure it was really well organized for you guys, and I'm super excited for you to apply it and share your wins with me as you're applying this into your business. So remember, tech is here to multiply who you are as a human to your clients and to other people, not replace you. And in 2020, the agents who win are the ones who leverage systems that remove friction and increase presence. So as I just taught business planning clinic in Kentucky recently, one of the conversations that I had was, what are the standards of how you do business? And one for me that a lot of people in the room also resonated with is presence over profit. Right? So the whole goal is, how do you make sure you take all of your systems and cause yourself opportunities to be more present in more relationships more often, and everything else is taken off of your plate by delegating it to a person or system, a tool, AI, etc. So I'm going to walk you through the exact 5 high leverage systems that you need to lead your business like a true CEO, whether you already have a high performing profit business or whether you are just beginning or anywhere in between. And we have all of those present here. Number 1 is strategic weekly planning, or a CEO day. How many of you, raise your digital hand or your physical hand if I can see you, how many of you already have a day allocated every single week for you to be the CEO of your business? Yes? Awesome. Love that. If not, here's your opportunity. And the second thing we're going to touch on today is your VIP touch system. So this is not your regular 36 touch system for all people that are in your database. This is you identifying who your true VIPs are that will always recommend and refer you, and what touch system you specifically are setting up in 2026 for those people, and how it's going to feel like a membership and a unique opportunity for them to work with you in your business because they are someone that cares about referring you and cares about being a cheerleader for your business. Number 3, we're going to talk about AI-powered follow-up systems. Some things you might already have in place, and hopefully you're going to learn something new that will help make it simpler and better for you. Number 4, we're going to talk about authority positioning and how you show up as the authority online in the ways that you are uniquely serving clients. Number 5, we're going to talk about performance analysis. And you guys know I love numbers and metrics, so this is where we get super nerdy and we take all of those nerdy key metrics that you might get bored with naturally and turn them into insights and opportunities for you to improve the experience people are having. So out of those 5 things, the weekly strategic planning, the VIP touch system, AI-powered follow-up, authority positioning, and performance analysis, go ahead and type in the chat, what are you most excited to incorporate into your business? And if it's all of them, that's okay. But if there's something that stands out to you as like, that's my biggest opportunity today and why I'm here, I want you to type that so I can make sure we spend a little bit more time on that topic. And you can come off mute and say it if you don't want to type in the chat. Okay, AI follow-up. Love that, Jeff. Performance analysis. Love that, Diamond. CEO day. Yep, so good. And AI follow-up. Okay, so we are AI call scheduling. Oh, I love that. That's really good. Okay. So the CEO day tech stack that I'm going to recommend for everyone, and you can go ahead and start taking notes. And then also there's going to be a recording of this call, but I would take notes so you can make sure you're really clear on what you're implementing after today because you're investing your time being here. So the CEO tech stack I would recommend for your CEO day is time blocking your week, which I recommend a Google Calendar. I have a couple of clients that use Outlook. And so far, I found this to be a little bit simpler when it's Google. I always recommend color coding your calendar. So revenue, relationships, and renewal. And renewal is going to be your personal time, which is where you're going to take care of yourself and also be present with your friends and family. And you guys can go back to my call on the pillars if you want to. to dive deeper into that piece. But you want to make sure that your week is color coded. And so your opportunity each week when you have your CEO time, which many people have on Monday afternoons, but it needs to be at a time that works for your flow of your week, is to make sure you have all of those present on your calendar that week. So making sure that you have blocks for lead generation, but not just the words lead generation, that you specifically have typed in there exactly what you're doing, who you're calling, what you're saying, your messaging, your content creation and posting, whether that's you or someone else doing it, your follow-up plan, and making sure that you have your CEO time on there for the following week. And then Google Drive, your weekly operations folder. So your CEO checklist that will evolve over time of the agenda for your CEO time. So you don't just get lost in what am I doing during this time? I know I was supposed to have it, but what am I focused on? And then you can take that CEO checklist and link it straight into your calendar in the notes so that you're really clear on keeping yourself on task of here are the things I'm focused on during that CEO time. Also in Google Drive, making sure that any language or scripting or if you're using like Phil Jones, exactly what to say language, to make sure that you are using empowering words more often. You can have those scripts laid out so that you're focused on it in your Drive. Your systems, and some of you already said you're working on your SOP. You can have your systems included in your Drive. We'll talk about an alternative in the future. You also can have any of your templates saved in your email or your Drive. So every single part of an experience with you probably could have a template if you spent enough time every week during your CEO time of creating those templates or improving on the templates such that you're not reinventing the wheel constantly. And then also your meeting agendas. So if you already know the flow of a seller appointment for yourself and you have an agenda for that, if you already know the flow of a buyer consult, if you already know the flow of potentially working with a vendor moving into next year, and having a conversation with them on what a partnership looks like and what they could possibly contribute to be your lender throughout the year, because here's your budget for everything you're doing for marketing next year, and they can opt into being one of your core partners, which I always recommend doing around this time of year. And then Trello is your mental declutter board. So some of you, depending on what brokerage you're with, if you are with Keller Williams, which everyone that is on here right now is, but you could either do this in Command and set yourself up some boards inside of there of what your action items are, or you could use Trello or both. And a lot of people that I'm working with right now are using both. Trello is a really amazing project management system that you can apply to sharing each action item with anybody else you're working on the project with. And you can include things that you must do, things that are nice to do. You can delegate things. You can inspire people. You can create your hiring process, your training processes, anything in there, and it's free. And it's an app and it's on your computer. Who here already uses Trello for something? Not yet? Okay. I promise you it's a total game changer. So I'm excited for you guys to think about incorporating that. And then ChatGPT also is super helpful during your CEO time. It can be your weekly priority generator. So if you take your business plan for 2026 and pop it into chat, it can help make sure that you are identifying your priorities during your CEO time, and you can just bounce ideas off of making sure you're focused on the right things. Pamela did a great job on our huddle this morning of just saying, hey, I was really clear on my personal and business priorities last week, and I nailed those, because she, like most of us who are high producers, has that mindset of I want to get it all done every week, and all done is relative, right? So just getting crystal clear on what are my priorities for this week for me to win the week, and everything else is icing on the cake. Chat can also help you draft emails or edit them to make them sound in alignment with the client that you're addressing. It can outline your weekly social media content on one or all of the platforms that you're focused on. I would definitely have it consider the pain points that the clients that you would like to work with the most are experiencing. Even though it's naturally uncomfortable for us to think about pain, it helps you speak directly to the client. It also can help you turn tasks into processes, or you can ask for an outline of the entire process of whatever you're focused on, and then think about how does that experience look like for each of the people that you're serving in your business or the talent that you are working with inside your team. It can also build checklists and scripts on demand. You can actually script practice directly with it if you want to practice and don't have a practice partner that's committed to a time with you. And unlimited things, right? You can have a project for each client or for each person inside of your team or your brokerage. So those are just a few tools that you can use during your CEO time to keep yourself organized. I would love to hear from all of you. What is something new or different, or just a reminder that you just heard that's going to be helpful for you during your CEO time every week? Trello.
The project management system.
Awesome. I'm so glad that it's a game changer. So I'm really excited to hear you say that. Who else?
For me, it will be using Chat GPT. I need to really work on doing a content calendar, but what I know is I need to do a content calendar that is relevant to me and what I'm going to actually do.
Yes, I love that. Remember, there's two things that Chat needs for it to do a great job on content for you. One, it needs to know who you are before it starts doing anything for you. Second, it needs to be crystal clear on who you would love working with the most. So you need to just get out your pen and start writing out all the details of your dream client that you've worked with before or someone you would love working with the most. And then make sure it helps you speak specifically to who you would like to do business with. You're not eliminating people, you're actually attracting your ideal client more often. And people will remember you because you're being specific.
Got it. Yeah, Chat knows me fairly well, but that's the one thing I have not done is niche down to my ideal client. So I will be working on my avatar this week too.
Awesome. Love that. Okay. Who else? Is there someone on here that you're like, I'm already using all of that, but I'm ready for the next topic? No? Okay. Did you get something valuable from that piece? Remember, just take one thing. Yes, Kristen.
Yes. So the Trello, like I had never heard of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you guys to incorporate it. Okay. And there's lots of like unlimited videos online on how to use it well in your real estate business that I can't even spend time going over right now. So I'm very excited. It looks like someone put their hand up, but I can never really tell what that is. Did anyone else put your hand up? It's like a random digital hand that keeps popping up for me. Okay, great. All right. So everyone's going to have a CEO day on your calendar consistently moving forward, and you have ideas of text that you can incorporate into that to help make it smooth for you. All right, we're going to go to the VIP touch system. Remember, the first part of this is that you actually have to identify who your VIPs are. And that's going to look very different depending on how long you've been in the business and the size of your database. So you need to define, what does VIP mean for you? If you have a huge database and you've been in the business for a while, maybe it's someone that has consistently referred 2 or more people to you a year. Or maybe it is someone that was one of your ideal avatars that you've done business with this year. If you are newer in the business, it might just be the people that you know no matter what. If they hear someone talking across the room at a restaurant or somewhere they are about real estate, they're going to walk across the room and make sure that they know you, right? Someone that's been a champion of yours in your business and your life so far. So define who your VIPs are. The goal is to minimally get to 50. You might start with 20, but the goal is to minimally get to 50. And if you have more, great. But these are the center of your universe when it comes to building your business. So the goal is that in 2026, that you will use tools to help you specially spoil these amazing people in gratitude for them consistently being partners for you in your business. AI will never replace connection. It makes connection easier to deliver consistently. So everything that you are building, I just want you to be thinking about, how can I use this to systematically deliver an experience above and beyond anything I've ever done before for my VIPs? So in Gmail, you can actually, did I just have someone that had a question? I just want to make sure I'm allowing for that. Okay. In Gmail, you can actually tag all of your VIP clients. So you can tag your A clients. You can tag your referral partners of people that consistently refer to you. You can tag your past clients. You'll do this in your database as well, but it's just a really easy way for you to set up emails or anything that you want to do if you already have those contact groups labeled inside your Gmail. So be thinking about that. Also, hot prospects, so that you can auto filter so you never miss an important message. In Google Drive, you can have a client experience folder with your email templates, with your video scripts, your buyer and seller playbooks, your personalized touches that feel human and thoughtful. I have everyone taking their January through December and literally mapping out all of the experiences that they're going to create specifically for their VIP clients. One of my previous ALC members from Maryland is actually, she invites people to a football game every year for the Baltimore Ravens. And so she has that at a specific time of year on her calendar, and those are what her VIP clients get invited to that month. Or you could decide that you're going to have a gratitude dinner or lunch in November every single year for your top VIPs that still live locally. Or some people have their VIPs set up on a wine club that automatically goes out to them. You have to think about, where are your VIPs in their journey of life? Are they young parents? Are they older? Are they where are they for most of them? And then create experience or little things throughout the year that are specific to what most of them would like. Or maybe you have one or two different maps of what you're going to do throughout the year. And one thing to do in Google as well is you can create a marketing that is separate from your regular email calendar. So as you incorporate other people to help you do these things, it can stay in that same email. Example would be marketingtlc@gmail.com. And now that calendar becomes all of your touches throughout the year, and the before work, the during, whatever it is, and the after posts, event or post, whatever you're doing, whatever touch it is, so that you have it all mapped out in there for the business and you can just improve on it every year. And you can invite anybody else to it. So you can invite yourself to it if it's your action. You can invite an admin to it. You can invite a photographer to it, whatever you need to do. But it would just be this one calendar in Google that is specific for all of your experiences and events for your VIPs. Personalized follow-up messages, touch ideas based on your client profiles that we're talking about, social direct message template. So this is just, your goal is to deepen trust and relationships with people that matter most to you without adding hours to your plate. All right, what did you guys get out of that you're going to incorporate in 2026? Or are all of you already nailing it with VIPs?
I love the wine club idea.
Awesome.
I'm going to implement that and I'll start mapping out a plan for my VIPs. I haven't even thought that far. So now that's a part of my task for 20 to get ready.
Awesome. And what I love about that most, Diamond, is now around this time of year, September, October, when you're doing your business plan for every year, you can think about, is my current VIP plan exactly how I want it to be? Or what improvements or new things should I be adding into it? But now you just have it as a habit to consider as you build forward. So today you're taking away whatever you can apply now, and then what system can you make out of that, right? Who else had something from that was helpful for you? Okay. All right, we're going to move into the next section. And a lot of you actually mentioned this as your second most popular one that you were excited about. So we are going to dive into AI-powered follow-up. And there are lots of options for this. And we're actually going to go over 4 tools here. So you'll want to get ready to take notes, and I'll be very excited to hear what your takeaways are from this. Your follow-up tech stack is going to be ChatGPT or the custom GPTs, which a lot of people don't always click on when they're in chat. So you'll want to make sure that you figure out how to best use that. But you can create a full follow-up ecosystem for just about every single part of your business. But here are some of the ways that you can use it. So for chat, you can create a full follow-up ecosystem for open houses before, during, and after. And you can think about, what does it look like for you to have a 10-star experience open house such that you actually get listings and buyers from it. And what's awesome about chat, I'm sure you guys have already experienced this, is you can literally ask it, what is the best experience anyone's having in the entire world with open houses? What are all the steps of the process? And what should I be doing better or different? And then it can just lay it out for you. And now you can save that as a project so you have your entire experience. Then you just move that, whatever the answer is you finally come up with that you're excited about, you move that system into Trello. And so now you have your whole open house experience mapped out for you or anyone else that would host an open house for you. You can use it for systems for online leads, whether they're coming from social media, whether they're coming from any online lead source, if you're choosing to invest in that as a complement to your database. You can create a system for your past clients. It's super important not to lose people post-close, right? We want to run a transformational business, not a transactional one. And transformational businesses contribute to people in many different ways and are a resource to people in their life and their business. So thinking about what those post-close systems can be so they can be forever clients and not one-time clients. Your sphere. So you can create systems for your sphere. I would say get granular with this. I'm really blessed that most people that I get to talk to that are attracted to the Legacy Collaborative and that consider coaching with me are usually people who are relationship based. And what I'll say is people don't get granular enough with what sphere means. And then it makes it really challenging for you to do more of what's working because you don't know where you originally got that client. So I would just ask you, as you are tracking moving forward with where transactions are coming from, to think about Specifically, when you write SOI next to someone, where did they come from? Where did you originally meet them? Because that's your secret sauce for what you need to do more of going into next year. Also, your warm nurture systems. It does take, depending on the market you're in and who you usually serve. I had a conversation with someone this morning. It is taking about 4 times the number of contacts for her to find motivated buyers that are ready right now, but she's getting a lot of conversations of people that will be ready, and you have to have both. So it just depends on what you focus on, making sure that you have really great systems to be in front of people long term so that they don't go work with someone else because you didn't nurture them long enough until they were ready. And also not, not avoiding people at times that they actually are looking, because once someone decides they're going to buy, it usually happens a lot faster than they think. Yes. So making sure that you don't just kind of toss them to the back burner because you need right now business. You need right now business and later business, and great systems for both. Long-term sellers, ghosted buyers, agents that you're attracting into your business, if that is a part of your model, whether it is for your actual business, and you're going to mentor them similar to what Sahar talked about earlier, whether it is just attracting people into your profit share tree here or other places if you're in Keller Williams. Whatever that looks like, remember, every single person that you know is either someone that can sell with you, buy with you, invest with you, or work with you. And they don't have to work specifically in your business. You could possibly create an opportunity for them to be in operations, a transaction coordinator. I have a measurement company that's hiring in Charlotte right now that I coach. Like, literally, there are unlimited opportunities in this industry, and we are so focused sometimes on can they sell or buy with us that we forget that we can be a connector of opportunities for people. So don't forget that. Also, Gmail templates. So making sure that you have speedy replies to people that you actually can set up to automate when it's a specific kind of email. Your nurture sequences in Gmail, your objection responses could already be in templates so that you have an idea to go back to whenever you're seeing that you have common objections. Contract to close communication, whether it's you, a transaction coordinator, or full-time admin, making sure that you have all of your templates set up so that it's done in alignment with the experience you care about creating. And then there's 2 more technologies that you can use in the follow-up that are listed here. There's far more. One is CapCut, so creating 20 to 30-second video follow-ups for all the major parts of a transaction so that you can easily just send people a video message, which is far more connecting than a text. Auto captions on any of your videos you're putting on social media. Quick personal connections can be made with those videos that you can make on CapCut as well. You can also just record a video straight in your phone. As AI evolves, people are going to continue to look for who's authentic, who's real, who's connecting with me the way I want to be connected with. And video is a really important direction to go in. The 4th one I'm going to share, I'm super excited about, and some people on here have already heard about it because some people are on my Legacy Collaborative Vision team, and I can't stop bragging about this tech that I just discovered a week and a half ago. So it is called Replit, Replit, and it actually takes any idea that you can think about in your business or your life, and it creates the solution for you because it actually creates the code and creates the product for you. So if you think about the 3 key areas of your business, right? So leads, listings, and leverage. You just need to think about where's your biggest gap? Do you have enough leads coming in? If not, that's your biggest focus. How do I make sure that leads that are my ideal client are finding me better? And then you can just tell it what technologies you're currently using, and it will create a solution for you. And you just talk to it as you are. You don't have to think in code. You don't have to. I've literally said to it, hey, I know nothing about code. Can you please just go do it for me? And it's like, oh, yes, I'm so sorry. I'll go handle that right now. And that one is you invest in a certain number of credits a month, and then it charges you like a few cents for everything it does for you. So it doesn't have a slight cost to it because it's actually working for you. It can build simple automations for tasks that you repeat. It can connect any of the technologies that you can think of that you would want to talk to each other. It can create solutions for that. It can create tools that close your personal inefficiency gaps. It also sets up mini systems for reminders, formatting, data collection, just about anything. I'm going to get super nerdy here, but you have to just go in and try it 1 month if you never use it again, because I promise you're going to be texting me saying thank you. I actually learned about it on an AI event that I attended a week and a half ago with Dean Graciosi and Tony Robbins. And the person who started this technology got on and talked about it, but I was totally unclear on what it was. And that's when I started playing with it. And it actually created from scratch the website that I am typing in here for you. So if you go to that, literally it cost me about $30 of credit because I knew nothing about what I was doing, and I just started messing with it that Friday Eve or that Saturday after it was over. And then I played with it on Saturday and Sunday, and then I had that whole website completely ready to go. And now anybody that wants to can go on there and click anything. And then I added a form to it to data collect after an event. So if you are doing an event like a buyer workshop, or you're doing an investor workshop for listings for sellers, or you're educating 65-year-olds on how they can transfer their wealth properly to their children because they're not thinking about it right now, because you're in business with someone that can help them think about the proper way to transfer their properties, or to have a will, or to have an estate set up, or any of those things, you can actually put a form on whatever you're doing such that you automatically data collect for what they need the most next. You can create whatever you want. My number one was leads, of making sure I have enough people in my funnel for who I'm going to be coaching next. But you can create a solution for whatever you need. If yours is converting from leads to appointments, if yours is, I just want a place for me to have a few lead magnets of useful information that I can send everyone to one place, you can add this to your link tree. And now it's the top thing on all your social medias, and all of your automations with your mini chat or anything else you're doing are sending people to this. I actually added a tab for today's event that you're on right now to it. And all I did was speak directly into the technology, and it created it for me. So if you click on events, you can see today's event on there. I didn't create any of that. It did all of it for me. And then at the bottom, I have where people can subscribe on the first page to the tools and everything that I share ongoing, or any of the articles I'm creating. You can do the same exact thing. You can have them subscribe to the things that you're doing, and adding value to them. And then you can just define what that is. Okay, that was the follow-up section. So I want everyone to come off mute and share what you got the most out of for that section.
That was a lot.
What's one thing that you found most helpful, Diamond?
I would say getting my follow-up systems together. Like, you got pretty granular on all of the different types of follow-up systems that you should have in place. So I know for me, I really need to lean into the post-close follow-up and Sphere, and then all of the things about email, and then of course the Replit. That was probably the best out of all of it. But the systems for the follow-up for post-close, it was definitely a pain point.
Awesome. So now you just walk away from this, and if today's your CEO day because it's Monday, then right after this call, which is something I recommend everyone do. I'm not going to be having this call next week because it's Thanksgiving, but most Mondays from 1 to 2, we have the Monday reset call. You could literally make your CEO day right after it as a system every single week. Now you get on here, get great ideas, go implement it, incorporate it into your systems, and then the rest of your next week or two are set up for success. And you've already implemented one small thing where your systems are running, right? So I love that you just said that. But you can just go ask Replit, like, here are the technologies I'm already using for my follow-up. Here's my biggest gap of what I'm seeing that I'm not doing well. Help me come up with a solution for it. And it will. I love that. Who else? What did you guys get out of this section? A lot of you said that you were most interested in this section. I'll have like 2 more people share. I know you're still writing, or maybe you're already creating something.
I think it just really comes down to, again, like the word system, of sitting down and really looking at your business and figuring out where you are today, where you see your business going, and how you're going to get to that point. One of the things that you said was, I think you have to be laser focused and granular where it counts, but at the same time, kind of have that spotlight shining to encapsulate everyone.
Yeah, on the VIPs of just making sure that the relationships are deeper and not necessarily wider and surface level. Yeah, that's so good. And I know we're going over a lot today. Diamond, you pointed that out, and I knew that. I just want you guys to be able to have this as notes, and then just go select and star the 1 to 2 actions you're going to take from it. And then you can just dive into the rest later, right? That's just a really good habit on any class or anything that you're doing, is just making sure that you choose something you're going to take action on it, go do it. and then you can build on the next part later. That is what it looks like to build a really solid foundation of a business, is just to make sure that you're implementing and creating and improving on little systems as you go and as you build. One more person, what did you get from this section?
I think for me, the riplet, like how you said, it's going to fill in the gaps on things that we're missing. Because a lot of times I think I have everything together, but that gap filler. And then actually looking at your website to seeing what, how I was able to create that. And one of the reasons I was thinking about that is because part of my marketing is to do single like homepages, like individual homepages, and I have my own domain. So that would be good to do those single site pages to capture leads as well.
Absolutely, it can do that. That's a great idea. Yeah, the cool thing is you can literally say, here's what I'm dreaming of being able to do. Tell me what else I'm not thinking about that can help me with this. And it literally can just help you think about it. It's really amazing. One example is I said, can you take everything that people are entering on any form in this and then automate it to a Google Sheet so it's already organized for me to use in my database in my email? And it said yes. And then it just went and made it all talk to each other. So whatever you want it to help with. I have a client who has an admin that wasn't working out, and she was paying them $20 an hour because she didn't have a lot of money to invest in the person yet. And she said that after looking at this, she was able to let them go find something that's better for them in a very nice way, but she did not have to pay for that admin with where she is in her business anymore. And that person's going to be happier. They were not happy because they weren't doing a good job. So this just really helps level up. And as you're looking for people into the future that you're going to attract into your business, whether it's from an administrative standpoint or agents, I would say a non-negotiable is that they need to be willing to learn how to lean into resources and AI and online systems. They don't already have to know it all. They have to be in values alignment, number one. Number two, they have to be willing to lean into leveraging it and figuring it out. Even John Maxwell, who I'm in a leadership group with right now, he is falling in love with this. And sometimes people have to help him figure out how to turn his phone on. But he's personally playing with ChatGPT and AI. So if that helps you understand how important this is, he understands how important this is to the future of any business that's going to be thriving. Okay, we're going to move into authority positioning. You're going to stop chasing people and start attracting people. The market listens to the voices that show up with clarity and consistency. Clarity and consistency. Your authority tech stack is going to be Canva, for market updates, neighborhood features, educational carousel, on-brand stories, and you as the authority. And many of you already have an automatic Canva attachment to Keller Williams Command. So if that's helpful for you, great. If not, there's lots of automations inside of Canva. Just make sure you're using it at its highest level. And if you have no idea, ask ChatGPT how to use it to its highest level, and it will be happy to tell you. And then don't forget, if you're using Replit, to tell it that Canva is one of your tools, because it probably could make things better and simpler for you. For CapCut, having short videos, community highlights, personal stories, listing walkthroughs, local expertise. This is very important to think about. People want to understand the experience of working with you and the experience of living in the community they're going to be living in and the experience of enjoying the same things that you enjoy in life, or the experience of what it's like to be home with you, right? As AI evolves and all the fake artificial stuff continues to multiply online, people are looking for what it's like to be deeply connected with the experience of whatever it is. They don't want surface level anymore. ChatGPT can be used for scripts, captions, SEO descriptions, although artificial intelligence, search engine optimization is becoming more and more important than SEO. So make sure that you're focused on both. It can help you with post planning to make sure it doesn't take a lot of your time to get it done. It can help you repurpose content across YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of it. It can actually rewrite every single thing that you do such that it's a good format for any of those that you're on. Your blog on your website, right? Remember to reference the content diamond so that as you're recording a video, you can get the transcript and then you can turn it into all of the other formats without you having to recreate content. And then you have a consistent message online when you do that. You can use Google Drive for your content library so that you have B-roll already in there, templates. If you don't know what B-roll is, ask ChatGPT what B-roll you need, and then just go do that. You can have templates in Google Drive, evergreen posts. So the common questions that people ask you, start taking notes of what those are and go record the videos answering those questions. Or the common questions that you see people asking about real estate today, go record those videos. One technology that some of you know about, and maybe not everyone, is answerthepublic.com. You can do 3 searches a day for free on there, and you can type anything. Real estate, hunting for you, Jeff. You can type anything on there. And then it will actually populate the questions people are asking about that topic today online. Google Trends also will show you what people are searching for. So your goal is to become the person that answers the questions people are asking, even if they're controversial questions. Testimonials are things that you can include in your Google Drive, video scripts, brand guidelines, any of the things that you need that are your systems for your marketing pieces and for your online content. And this is how you become the person buyers and sellers follow and trust. All right, what'd you guys get out of that? We're right on track to finish on time. Answerthepublic.com. Yes, that's a great tool, Diamond. What else did you guys get? That you missed a lot, Treva? You didn't miss a lot. You'll be able to come back to this. What's one thing that stood out to you that you can incorporate, because you have been working on this section of making sure you're the authority and that you share the experience of what it's like to work with you in real estate. You've been starting to do that consistently this year. So what is something that was most helpful for you in that topic?
That I'm not utilizing Google Drive.
Okay. So thinking about how you can utilize Google Drive better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So making sure that you have it organized, and you can use Drive or Trello for those things, right? It's just what, and Diamond said hers. And it sounds so funny for us to say anything Google related out loud, like that's a new technology today, but it's not, right? How do we make sure we have excellent systems? All right. You guys ready for the last section? And then we're going to have your top takeaways. So go ahead and start starring the things you're going to take action on after today so that we can have those ready to go. All right. Jeff said, I have no idea how to use Google Drive. Perfect. So now is the best opportunity for you to start figuring it out. And you have figured out many other things that you didn't know how to do well yet. So I believe you can. All right. So the last one is performance analysis. And y'all know I'm a numbers dork, so you're going to have to just deal with me here. Okay. So you cannot scale what you're not measuring. And I love that we talked about tracking earlier. I love that there are so many people on here that I know have done one or multiple money days that have had a positive impact in their personal net worth just because they are focused on it. For those of you who don't know when to fit this in, I would make it your Friday ritual. And here's your tech stack for this. CT, which is Commitment to Excellence, is a tool that you can purchase on your own. The website is ctebiz.com. For all of my elite coaching clients, I already buy their subscription. So if you are currently an elite coaching client or will be in the future, you can save a little bit of money. It's not very expensive to buy on your own, by the way. If you're not yet ready to be an elite client, go get it. It's well worth it. So what's included in that is you're actually going to have your whole business plan inside of it. It helps you identify all the details of every possible transaction and where your business is coming from. The habits that I recommend around it are that you have a daily wrap up. It's CTE. Treva, I'll put it in here for you. So it's called Commitment to Excellence, and it actually started in KW, but now it's accessible for people no matter what brokerage they're with. And I pay for seats for all my elite coaching clients included in them coaching with me. So the habits that people have that are using this best, and I know like Pamela is doing this. Actually, I think Cheryl is doing this, and Pamela and I just talked about it being daily. Just having a daily wrap up every single day inside the tool. And that means that you're really clear on what conversations you had that day, what the conversions are. You also know where your business came from, and you can clearly see what your business looks like. And it auto-populates lots of different tabs for you. There is a financial tab. Pamela said she's failed to do it daily, but she wants to. Great. So there's a financial tab that has your profit and loss statement in it and shows you what percentage of your gross commission income you're investing in each of your expense categories, so you can automatically see how you're doing compared to the ideal. And you're just responsible for typing your expenses in each month from your QuickBooks or whatever tool you're using for that. You put your lead source return on investment. Remember, if it's Sphere, be clear on where you got it from so you can do more of that. It has a pipeline in it. It has forecasting in it. It has all of the different tools you would want as a CEO of your business automatically populated from like 15 minutes of entry a week. And then you can look at it during your CEO time so that you can look at your metrics and see what you're noticing and what you need to be taking action on. On Google Sheets, you can use Google Sheets for your KPIs or your dashboard that you're having a conversation with your coach around, with your admin around, with any leadership that's in your life that's helping you in your brokerage. You can track your weekly conversations, your appointments set to met to make sure that you're clear on how many do you need to set for you to actually hold the number that you need to hold. Your weekly goals, your quarterly targets. For those of you that do 411s, you can have your 411 inside of Google. Your income projections. So you can use Google Sheets very similar to CTE for free. So whatever tool is best for you, you just need to be tracking it. ChatGPT will actually take your multi-year trends report if you're in KW, or any reports from CTE if you're not, or if you're whatever tool you're using, you can actually take a screenshot or download whatever it is and put it into chat, and it will do a trends analysis for your business for you and tell you exactly what you need to be focused on for you to improve your business and get to the goals you have. It can tell you what's working, what's not. It can help you with strategic planning. It can give you suggestions for the next 7 days. The most important thing with this is when you know the truth about your numbers, whether it's your personal net worth, whether it's your profit and loss statement for your business, your conversion rates, how many people that you're working with each of the lead gen sources, this makes your decisions faster and easier, right? You can clearly see how many transactions you're having from each lead source and make decisions on what you need to invest money in for the following year. So those are the things for that part. What did you guys get from that? That was the last section, other than us closing it all up, which will happen in the next couple minutes. What did you get from that section? Okay, everyone's on mute. I know everyone gets excited about the numbers part. I do, at least. That's what's going to actually create your life worth living, right? All right, so yes, track. Yes, Kristen, track. It does, it makes all the difference. If you are feeling the pull to make a decision or to take an action based on the conversation today, you invested your time here, and I'm so excited for the impact it's going to have. Please message me, whether it's a direct message on social media or text me your wins that you're having from this. I get really excited. I was a cheerleader and I still am. Not in real life, but like actually for my clients and for you guys. So I love to celebrate wins with you. I'm really dorky about it, and I expect for you to share when you have wins. And there's a couple opportunities I want you guys to know about. So number one, I am opening 3 deep dive sessions next week before Thanksgiving for anybody who wants to be considered for an elite coaching spot for 2026, and they don't have a cost to them. So if you are someone that wants to raise your hand for one of those 1-hour sessions, you will take away actions that will help for clarity in your business. And if we decide to work together, then we will. And if not, you at least have the value from it, but it's a thank you for you being a part of this first November event that I've done. So make sure that you send me a message if you want one of those, and the first 3 people to tell me that they want one, whether it's inside the chat here directly to me or whether it's a direct message, text, or on social media, whoever the first 3 are will get those sessions for next week. Also, I want you to save the date. We are going to be doing the 12 Days of Christmas Challenge. So we're going to set up a lot of fun to have together for the first 12 days in December. That's going to help you easily attract business. And you or anyone that you know of, your referral partners, can participate. Invite everyone you know that would benefit from this to the Legacy Collaborative so that they can be in it before the 12 Days of Christmas start. And we're going to be sharing more details on that, but you guys are the first ones to hear about it, other than our vision team. So make sure that you save the date on the 1st of December. We're going to be having a lot of fun, and we're going to make business building easy for the beginning of December so you can be present with all the people that matter most for the second half of December. Does that sound good? We're gonna make it super fun. Awesome. So before we close, I just want to really quickly thank you guys for being a part of this. This is really special for me to have each one of you here today. It means the world to me, and whether you were able to be fully present and your camera on or not, the fact that you're even on the Zoom right now means the world. So thank you. You'll see later on how special this was to be a part of this first one for this year. And please message me. Thank you for investing in yourself. Thank you for investing in each other in the way that you show up for each other outside of these meetings. The one thing I want for all of you guys is I want you to understand that whatever you want your business to look like next year, it's possible. Literally, you get to choose it, and then we just figure out how to get you there. So if you're stuck at all and you're hesitant at all on what that looks like for you, please reach out to me. I'm passionate about every single person that's a part of the Legacy Collaborative getting what you want in your life and your business. So thank you for being here. And if you have any top takeaways, please put them in the chat so I can know, or come off mute and just share with me what your favorite part of today was so that I can take note and apply it to what we're doing in the future. What were your favorite parts of today, or what actions are you going to take?
For me, two of the things you talked about was the seller flow and the buyer flow, to just kind of go ahead and completely map that out. It's mapped out, but just go ahead and make it concrete. Going into 2026, I want to have my systems and structure really airtight, where it's less work for me, because I realize I'm doing a lot of work this year. So, just streamline it. And then the other thing is the Google Drive. I don't think I use Google Drive enough. And I think if you're looking at hiring out eventually, especially in 2026 for leverage, using that Google Drive that you can share with your staff would be great.
100%. I love that those are two of your top ones. Awesome. Experience matters. Who else? Oh, Pamela said, Britt and I are sorry we didn't engage more, but so grateful for having this kind of input to build a solid business with systems and tools that make a difference. Got it. At least I know you're here. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I am going to be sending a recap. So if you're not already getting my newsletters, please make sure that you send me your email address. So I can make sure that you're added to all of the newsletters going out, because the recording of this, as well as the notes from it, are going to go out. Kristen, first make CEO Day a part of the week to make the time blocking an essential part. This allows us to have dedicated time to build the systems. Yes, it does. And if you build or improve on one system a week, you have 52 new systems by the end of the year. So good. All right. Thank you guys, and have an amazing Thanksgiving, since we won't see each other next week, but we will resume the 1 to 2 p.m. Monday resets the following week. And if there's something specific you need in your business, please let me know. Thank you.